Aries season begins on Thursday, March 20th, as the sun enters Aries, and we begin a new zodiac journey around all 12 astrology signs. This is known as the spring equinox here in the Northern Hemisphere. It's also International Astrology Day and Ostara. Now, when the sun enters Aries and begins this new cycle, it is a time of fresh beginnings, new creations, trusting what calls to you, what brings about a sense of motivation and inspiration. And there can also be the desire to move quickly and advance. Now, during this particular time that the sun has just entered Aries, we're also going to have a Venus star point. This is occurring at 2 degrees of Aries, with Venus retrograde conjunct the sun on March 22nd. Venus star points only occur in 5 astrology signs, and they signify that this Venus is receiving new energies of creation, personal value, love, connecting to more of what she wants, what she desires to receive, what she craves, as well as what she wants to magnetically attract. Venus is the energy of attraction, and she needs to have a frequency match to whatever she wishes to attract and pull into her experience and into her energy. So here we have Venus retrograde conjunct the sun, creating a new point of creation based on your personal self-worth and value systems. The sun is exalted in Aries. Venus is in her detriment in Aries. The power of the sun is blasting through with fire, warmth, light, potentials, possibilities. And Venus is working on her ability to receive and to understand that she's worthy, especially because she's retrograde, so she's more receptive and is learning to receive more effortlessly and easily. This is going to be a very important few days of intentionality, being clear on what you want to manifest that's new, fresh, different, that relates to who you are now, to what you desire in your life. Not only is Venus conjunct the sun, which, by the way, when she's conjunct the sun for a Venus star point, we don't see her for 10 days. And that's because the sun's rays are dominating her energy. She's out of view, out of sight, and she's in this energy field of the sun's empowerment. During this particular Venus star point, she's also becoming an evening star. She's switching from being a morning star into being an evening star. And as Venus is interacting with the sun, both the sun and Venus are in a sextile to Pluto in Aquarius, which will be at 3 degrees. Powerful transformation is underway around your heart's desire, your sense of what you want, your ability to love yourself and accept yourself first, understanding more of who you came here to be in this life. And that sextile from Pluto is transformative, supporting you in moving into this next higher version of personal self-love based on what you've learned or what you've been through, based on reprogramming that Venus at a core level of her being. The Venus energy and the strong Aries energy relates to the root chakra, relates to parts of yourself that you're learning to trust, that you're learning to accept. This can be an amplification of self-confidence. This can also be a new understanding of who you are that you're perhaps arriving at for the first time in your life. You're arriving at a new sense of self-acceptance that feels empowering. This is occurring again, 0 to 3 degrees of Aries in your chart. We also have a Mercury retrograde moving through, making conjunctions here to this Venus and to the Sun. Mercury retrograde in Aries is asking you to look at your thought patterns and to understand what is no longer correct for you, what's out of alignment. This could also be that you're deeply reprogramming those inner stories and narratives that you've told yourself, the unconscious loops, or things that you've always perceived or you've always said. Now you're seeing it in a different light, and you could realize, I want to think about this differently. I want to be open to a new viewpoint and a more expanded way of understanding who I am in the cosmos. So the first few days of Aries season are quite significant and quite pivotal. The Venus star point is at 2 degrees of Aries. And then Venus, because she's retrograde, will then travel behind the Sun. She's going to meet up with the North Node in Pisces. She meets up again with Neptune in Pisces. She's pulling in more of her soul's frequency when she's back in Pisces, where she's exalted, receptive, connecting to more of her creative, intuitive self effortlessly. Now, this Venus, she's on a very big journey right now. And there is much that she is needing to let go of that she's completed. She's moved through, she's done, she's finalized with it. This can be anything that the Pisces energies represent to you around karma, lower self-worth, not fully owning your personal value, anything that you've hidden from yourself or from others, what you've held back, and what you haven't wanted to be visible or seen. Venus is also closing out a big cycle here. And I feel that she's understanding what she's carried for the collective, what she's carried for others, even for those perhaps in her family or those that she's known across lifetimes. And she's ready to let that go, to not feel like she has to hold a connection to something that is no longer good for her. She's reprioritizing what she needs, what she desires, what she wants. And she's also then gaining greater clarity on what she no longer needs and what no longer is a fit for her in this next cycle. After she stations direct on April 12th, she moves forward. She's going to re-enter Aries. And as soon as she re-enters Aries, she has a conjunction on May 2nd to Neptune in Aries at 0 degrees for the first time ever in our lives. And this Venus is, I feel like she's activating and amplifying more of her divine self in the new cycle that begins at 0 degrees of Aries. There is a rebirth, a renovation, a makeover here. There is a new sense of what you came in to magnetize towards yourself, to experience, based on higher self-love, based on knowing I deserve this. This would be good for me. I'm ready for this new start or this new cycle. There's a sense of deep recreation here that Venus is accepting and owning. And it does feel like what she is having to trust is how her higher self, Neptune, is moving her through a very big cycle that's also uncomfortable. I mean, there's discomfort here because she's in the immediacy of Aries. But what I keep feeling is that it's this new spark of life, this new sense of herself that's going to light her up. And I feel that this particular Venus is experiencing some very clear endings, closures, completions, you get the gist, that she would never go back to or never attract in or pull in again. So there's a very deep reset here. That's an honoring of self. And I think it's because I see this as this frequency changeover, and it comes in and it looks very like sparkly and effervescent. And then it feels unreal. It feels unreal. So she's moving into her next dream. She's moving into her next dream. And it's happening through these multiple connection points with not only that Venus star point, which is seeding the new intentions of creation, but it's what she is truly, it's like this very deep, feels like a very deep personal soul contract or even agreement to herself. And it then feels like she's writing the new soul contract simultaneously. So she's aware of the endings and the beginnings, and she's writing the new soul contracts to herself, to her higher self, in the new frequencies. And it's not rushed. Like, this is not fast moving energy, which is why there's a discomfort for any planet in Aries. But she's being just like softly guided through something that allows her to connect with that next dream, that next creation, based on a deep core self-love that she's deeply integrating. I just feel like this is one of the most pivotal Venus retrogrades we've had in a long time, because not only is it a Venus star point that is about the new, but she's working intensely with Neptune, Pluto, Mercury, and then she's traveling with Neptune into this next stage right after Neptune moves into Aries. So the new starts are both here and arriving. They're incoming. And after Venus is done with that conjunction to Neptune and moves out of her shadow territory in May, there will be probably faster manifestations and developments based on her intense work and clear intentions. Clear intentions here. So this is a big Venus retrograde. That's why I've been doing a few videos on it for you, because we don't always notice our own limitations in our personal value systems, in our self-worth. And this is a time to say, I deserve more, I want more, I'm worthy of the next level, the next manifestation, the next whatever it is for you. It's being aware of where you've limited any of your dreams, the dreams you have of your life, the dreams you have of what you want to experience, and to look at how all of that is malleable right now. All of that is ready to grow. So I hope this gives you some good insights into what is being reprogrammed in yourself, as well as the honesty and courage to face your own limitations, to not be at war against yourself, to not be too hard on yourself, but instead to see it as the next level potentials that you can create and magnetize, and that the universe is working with you. Quite personally too, if you have planets or points here at the end of Pisces or the beginning of Aries. So I hope this gives you some things to consider and sit with during this particular Venus retrograde, as well as the power of the Venus star point at 2 degrees of Aries. Thank you for joining me. I'll be back here soon with another video for you as we continue to move through these big 2025 astrology energies.